Hello, learners. Welcome back to the channel, Science Therapy, hosted by the one and only science therapist, Abudiwa Sos Ugobela Wemet. And we are on episode number 2 of today's challenge, where we get to tackle some of the most challenging questions from past exam papers so that we make you gain confidence in approaching such questions when you do encounter them during your practice or even in your exam. Remember, this is an effort to make you polish those level 7s and move from the 80% to the 90% and hopefully smash that 100%. And still on the topic of smashing, please smash that like button and subscribe button. So without any further ado, let's look at this question that we have here. Okay, so we have an extract from DBE November 2017, Mathematics Paper 1, and it is question 3 on geometric series. So we have, it says, a convergent geometric series consisting of only positive terms has first term A, constant ratio R, and nth term Tn, such that the sum to infinity from the third term is equals to Tn 1 over 4, right? Then in 3.1, we are given T1 plus T2 is equals to 2. Then it says write down an expression for A in terms of R. Now, looking at the marks, we can see that we do not have to sweat a lot here. This is only 2 marks, right? So we know that when we are given something like this, we have to express it in mathematical form, where we do understand that T1 is represented by the letter A and T2 is represented by AR. Right, then this is equals to 2. Now remember, we want to express this we want to express A in terms of R, meant to say, then we can just factor out A, and then here we have 1 plus R is equals to 2. This point we can just divide both sides by 1 plus R, 1 plus R, so our A is equals to 2 over 1 plus R. And then this is pretty much what we were required to do for that 2 marks, right? So you are done just like that. Now, to go to 3.2, I would just like us to save this solution from the previous question here. This is 2 over 1 plus R. So it's going to come in handy when we are about to calculate the values of A and R, right? So to look at this, we are given a convergent series, which at this point, we already know that a convergent series always leads to the sum to infinity, which the sum to infinity can be expressed by the formula A over 1 minus R, right? So here we are given the first 2 terms, which looking at this, we can see that these are the terms that were excluded from this sum to infinity, because this sum to infinity is beginning from term number 3. So that means it does not have term number 1 and term number 2. So this is an incomplete sum to infinity. This is sum to infinity beginning from term number 3. But then if we were to express the sum to infinity as a whole, that means we would have sum to infinity is equals to T1 plus T2, then plus the sum to infinity beginning from term number 3, right? So this is the expression that we would have for that. And then since we are given that T1, so excuse me for that sum to infinity there, looks like a snake. Then sum to infinity T1 plus T2, that's equals to 2. But then the sum to infinity beginning from term number 3 is equals to 1 over 4. So we can say 2 plus 1 over 4. That will give us the total value or the total sum for sum to infinity. But then remember, we just said sum to infinity can be expressed by the formula A over 1 minus R. Then this will be equals to 2 plus 1 over 4, which gives us 9 over 4. Now at this point, allow me to just cross multiply here. So this is 4 times A will be 4A, and then 9 multiplied by 1 minus R. So at this point, I don't want to multiply with the 9 here. So I'll just say 9. And then in bracket 1 minus R. I'm looking at something here. I'm gunning at something. So let me call this equation number 2. And then let me call this equation number 1. So there's a reason why I told you to save that solution from the previous question. Now you can see that we have A here. And then our A in 3.1 was expressed as 2 over 1 plus R. So that means in the position of A in equation number 2, I can just substitute by equation number 1 there. So substitute this expression. Therefore, I will have 4, and then in bracket 2 over 1 plus R. And then is equals to 9, bracket 1 minus R, over, let me just say over 1. So I just want all this to be in terms of fractions, right? So this is 4 times 2. It will give me 8 over 1 plus R, and then that's equals to 9, and then 1 minus R over 1. Now at this point, what can I do? I can just cross multiply this, and then this will give me 8. So 8 times 1, that's 8. And then if I just cross multiply this, so let me properly write that. So that's 8. And then if I cross multiply here, I have 9, 1 minus R, and then 1 plus R. Now looking at these two brackets, we can see that this is difference of two squares, right? So that means we can end up having 8, 9. With difference of two squares, we don't have a middle term, so it's just multiplying this 1 and 1. And then multiplying negative R and positive R, that's negative R squared, right? Then to further solve this one, we can just say, let me just continue over here. So this will be 8, and then 9 times 1, that's 9. And then 9 times negative R squared, that's negative 9R squared. Then let's take this negative 9R squared over to this side. We have 9R squared. Then we take the 8 over to that side. So we have 9 minus 8. So this is nr squared is equals to 9 minus 8 is 1. We can divide both sides by 9. Then we have our r squared is equals to 1 over 9. Right. Now we want to get rid of this square, obviously. So we square root both sides. Then this is r is equals to either positive or negative 1 over 3. But then remember, they said consisting of only positive terms. So if we are only having positive terms, that means our r also needs to be a positive. So that means our r is equals to 1 over 3. But then I'm not done. I should get the value of a as well. So to get the value of a, remember I have equation number 1 here, which is expressed in the form of a. So I can just say a, and then 2 over 1, where there's r, I just substitute the value 1 over 3. Now it's just a matter of punching all this in your calculator. Then your solution is a is equals to 3 over 2. Then just like that, you have your values for r and a. So that was for a whopping 6 marks, guys. So if you have to ask me, that pretty much deserved the 6 marks, right? So it's not 8 marks, it's not 10 marks. The 6 marks is just good for this, right? Then, so I think this is where we're just going to end our lesson. So please press the thumbs up button if you have enjoyed the lesson. And then if you have been watching the videos and haven't subscribed, please subscribe. But most importantly, share the link with your friends and classmates so that they may also find assistance. Remember, do not be selfish. We are winning as a team.